The hills are alive with the sound of engines. It's race day here at the Austrian Grand Prix. The Spielberg circuit then is situated 700 metres above sea level, with just 10 corners making up one of the shortest laps of the season. One time around here is a distance of around 2.6 miles, with the best overtaking chances into turn 1 or the tight uphill of turn 3.
Right, I've switched to a different mic, and hopefully this one is a little bit better. It's not the mic I wanted to use, but I'm going to use this one for the time being, and sort out my other mic problem later on. Hopefully that is much better. Right, anyway, on to the TG trophy requirements for this week. And that's where we stand. These are the weekly challenges. 30 or more points for Harley today. So that means a good, solid finish. Although, bearing in mind the recent results, that shouldn't be too difficult. Mention today's podcast to every live viewer. This explains why I've been a little bit pluggy. Interstellar and Cameron, obviously, I've plugged it to you guys already. Connor, top 6 quali and top 8 both races. Toys, top 8 every session. 20 or more points and out Mercedes drivers, and out qualify Mercedes drivers, maybe. Finish all 3 sessions for Cameron. Beat at least 1 Australian and 2 British drivers in either race for Scuba. So basically beat Bray Train and half the field. Dunners, get the fastest lap at any time in the session. That's possible, I suppose. This will have to do. It's not actually my best mic I'm using it right now, but it will have to do for the time being. Fingers, top 10 quali and beat Ryan in either race. He might qualify in the top 10, but form would suggest he'll probably crash. Kells, beat reserve driver Paggy in any session. Could be done. Finished in the top 4 in any session for Bray Train. Currently 4th in the championship. There's no reason why that can't happen. And Dry Bones to defeat any Australian driver in qualifying. That can happen as well, potentially. Qualifying is a bit of one of those things where only needs one super hot lap. And the thing about Austria is it could be wet, it could be dry, we just don't bloody know. Right, anyway, moving on. We are live, as I said, this is round 9. This is Spielberg, or the Red Bull Ring, or the A1 Ring, it depends how old you are. Or the Osterler Ring, or whatever it's called. Good evening, Scuba. Just want to remind you that I was the guest on the EuroTripz F1 Podcast this afternoon, which you'll find on Spotify. I'm doing it for the TG Trophy and nothing else. I'm not plugging it because I'm some shameless weirdo, although I am. And I'm not being paid for it either. Right, anyway, we're loading in, ready to go. I think we removed that. We are pretty much there. Yes, Red Bull Ring, EuroTripz F1. This is Friday evening, and it is me and the racetrack today. Nothing else going on tonight. Usually, this is my first of 2. But the Porsche Cup is over. Congratulations to the winners of the 3 divisions. Good final showing from the Black Flag team in that as well. So the person we've got to look out for now has got to be Forza Ferrari. We'll wait and see. We're going to go on board with him actually when the race or the qualifying starts, when he finally decides to go out and do a lap around here while it's dry. It could potentially be wet, don't know. So it is a wet race. About bloody time. It's the only thing that really works around here. Otherwise, it's an incredibly boring racetrack, as we all know. So Forza is on his way out. And I've just seen him go out. Have I not? No, maybe I haven't. Who is out there? Oh well, Cameron is back after a couple of weeks' absence. Haven't seen him for a bit. So let's go on board with Cameron for a lap around here. Let's get rid of all this stuff and just have the lap, shall we? I'll tell you what I do want to put up. I want to put. Let's get my map up ready and lap data. And then we'll get rid of all of this stuff and we'll just go on board. So it's just Cameron and the road. And we'll see how he gets on. I've got some really cool stuff. Every day I'm adding new stuff to the stream deck for your entertainment purposes. Such nuggets as things like, let's talk about Dino. And there is other stuff to come. And that's my particular favourite. So here we go, out of the final turn, and you head up the hill into turn 1. Braking point is that just before that 50 metre board. You are dropped down into 3rd gear, get it turned in, then straight back on the power. Avoid the cars coming out the pits, heading up the hill. This is technically turn 2. No, it's not. It's not a turn. You're going flat out. This is turn 2. Again, just before the 50 metre board. Big turn in. Careful on the power on the way out. as you start heading back down the hill into the rest of the lap, essentially. Right hand turn here. Again, this is one you can take about third or fourth gear, get on that power, sweeping around the right hand side here, dropping down into fifth gear just to get it turned in, then back on the power before you have another braking zone. You brake really just as the kind of road curves around, but only a little touch, then back on the power again. You power through those two turns there before you head down. This is your second to last braking zone, 50 metre board, just a little touch. You can pretty much power through that. This is another big braking zone, fourth gear, off you go, you carry on, watch your track limits, and then that is essentially a lap around a Red Bull ring. Much more exciting when it's wet, because when it's wet, anything can happen, and you can't abuse these curbs when this track is wet. You definitely can't abuse the grass when this track is wet. You essentially have to make sure you keep the car just on the black stuff, and that was a pretty decent lap from Cameron, and we can tell that by the fact that he is on pole position. But only briefly, because the Scottish driver Connor puts himself, there he is, on to pole. That's a 106.265 from Connor, with a 106.6 from Forza, putting himself on the front row, pushing Cameron down to row number 2 with a 106.8. So already we've seen more than half a second knocked off the time. So, did anyone catch the last couple of days of, what's the word I'm looking for? Not testing, practice, free practice, FP1 and 2. Isn't Fernando looking good in the Aston Martin? I've got to say, very impressed with the Aston Martin performance so far. It's been pretty darn awesome, pretty unexpected as well, which is the good thing. Bit disappointed with the performance of the McLaren. I have it on good authority, relatively good authority. The McLaren essentially halfway through the closed season, while they were preparing for this season, changed their mind about the direction of the car, and that's why they are a little bit behind. But I also have on good authority that they have an update coming, which will be a huge update to the car when they finally get it sorted. But it is really down to down to Lando Norris about how he performs this season in that car. I really think, and you can find out these views on the EuroTripz F1 podcast for anyone that's watching live. Boom Shanker, I just got 9 people in one go, Ryan. Where's my fucking TG point? You can find out all these views on the F1 EuroTripz podcast. But I think Lando Norris is a make or break season for him. Really do. I think this is when he can demonstrate his ability to the world. It's very much like when George Russell was driving in the Williams, and even in a pants car, he did okay. Stroll, how is Stroll driving? I can tell you that he's doing okay, despite the fact that I don't rate him as a driver, and I think given the fact that his dad didn't own the team and wasn't a billionaire, he probably wouldn't be in F1, but he's got an incredibly good car underneath him. And let's be fair, if the guy that you are copying is Fernando Alonso, you're going to get quicker. Everyone knows that I'm incredibly slow, but if I spent several months learning how to drive from Fernando Alonso, I think I'd be pretty quick as well. But who knows? We will wait and see. Right, let's have a little rundown. Ryan on pole, that's a 106.0 from him. And then Scuba joins him on that front row, 106.1. Bray Train, the Australian, 106.2. Who had to beat him in qualifying? It's not looking good for you if you are not Scuba or Ryan. Connor in the second row with Bray Train, 106.265. He's on an outlap, he's not going to go again. Toys, 106.4. He's joined on row 3 by Drew Cam, also with a 106.4. Forza, the current championship leader, 106.6. And he is joined by Dry Bones Malone. Yeah, boy. 106.7 for him. Cameron in 9th place on row 5. He's 106.8 with Fingers. How you doing, Daryl? Not spoken for a couple of days. Hope you are well. Who is no longer on row 5 with him because Harley has just stuck himself. And who else stuck himself there? Someone has just put in a quick lap. Dunners has just put himself in 5th. On row 3 ahead of Toys, which has bumped Cameron and Fingers. Him and Harley have bumped Cameron and Fingers out of the top 10 down to row 6. Paggy on 13th, and just Standing 497 Crib. Well, that name's too fucking long for a start. Certainly too long for a Friday evening. I'm going to call you John. No, I'm joking. I'll call you Crib. That's what you're getting. That's the best you're getting. If you prefer something else, you have 24 hours to correct me. Otherwise, the name I give you sticks. And I reserve the right to change it at any time that I see fit. Right, so... still in the pits, he hasn't come out yet, not giving us a lap. Ryan's still on pole, he's on an out lap, he's looking to improve on that time, just to make sure, and to be fair, he's already over a tenth clear of Scuba. So it's really to make sure that Scuba can't catch him. He wants to improve on that. And as we say that, I'm not going to call him Crib, I'm going to call him fucking Quick. That's a 104.8. Let's just put this into perspective, right? Before he did his lap, 1 second, less than 1 second, separated the fastest driver to the slowest driver. And then standing 497 Crib, I don't know why I'm using his full name, although to be fair, if you drive that quickly, you probably deserve it. It's just put in a 104.8. Somebody has brought a freaking ringer in. Now that was an awesome lap, buddy. Very well done. And I'll tell you what, I think the only reason Forza isn't shitting himself right now, or any of those guys that are in it for the championship, is because there's only 4 races left. And even if you win all 4 races with that kind of time, you're not going to win the championship. But that's not to say you're not going to make some waves on the way. That's an incredible lap. Let's hope that was something that everybody else can do, because that was phenomenal. A 104.8 Crib, that is very, very good. And you're going to get one of these. Where is it? I've lost it now. Yeah, that's for you, man. That's for you. Everyone else has got this face on right now.
My dog stepped on a bee.
Yeah, that's the face that everybody else has got now. They've just seen that 104.8. I need you to do another lap so I can go on board with you and just see how you do that so quickly. And that is true. That is very true. I didn't actually think of that before. You've just done a 105.9, which in the scheme of things is not too shabby if you've gone for a wet setup. So actually, yes, I do stand corrected by someone faster than me. Hello Harley, good evening, how are you? Well, as you've just commented on the live, I do have to mention that I am a guest on the EuroTripz F1 Podcast, which is available now on Spotify and all good podcast suppliers. Link is in the description. Click on it and like it, and you'll have my TG point. Thank you very much. Yes, you are correct. I didn't actually consider that someone might go on a full dry setup into a wet race. Icy blast of vape to fill the void of my embarrassment. Right, so standing currently on pole with a 104.8, 105.9 for Forza. Obviously, cars are set up very differently based on what might be happening tomorrow. Ryan, you're facing the wrong way, mate, and
you can't park that there, mate. You can't park that there, mate.
Just a reminder. Yeah, so now you're facing the right direction. Paggy, 106.1. Sounds like, Friday night and you're shouting out like numbers over comms. It's almost like you're one of those kind of late night DJs. Yeah, now ring in with the 0792 794 62222. Yeah, big it up to John in Hounslow. Enough respect. I am acutely aware that there are a younger audience here who might not be quite so familiar with 90s garage pirate radio, which that is obviously more akin to. But there we go. So, standing fours are on the front row. Ryan and Paggy are on row 2. Scuba and the Bray Train are on row 3. The Bray Train, I was going to say it sounds like a character out of that Amazon show, but then I realised there is a character in that Amazon show called A-Train. You know what I'm talking about, the one with the superheroes and the guy out of Banshee. Connor and Dunners on row 4. Row 5 is Toys and Drew Cam. Dry Bones Malone is with Harley on row 6. And Cameron is on row 7 with Fingers, and it's very dangerous being behind people while Fingers is loose because there is nobody to witness the fact that he is touching you. And that is why it's called Fingers, because he can't keep them to himself, and he is not allowed within 50 yards of a primary school. Good evening, Daryl. Sorry about that, man. Right, so Stanley going to come out and do a lap so we can show people what it's like doing a quick lap around here. That would be quite a useful thing, wouldn't it? 5 minutes left. So we're going to see people coming back out. Who's on the track at the minute? There's Ryan. He's out on the track at the moment. It's still really annoying, actually. I don't know if I've mentioned. I've got my yeah, I think I did mention it already. I mean, it is now set up and working. The problem is I'm a screen down. I had a very nice big screen that I was using for my gaming, and that was there and it was doing its job, and it crapped out on me when the new computer came, so it's going off for repair, and Samsung are fucking slow, so I'm making do with a borrowed screen that unfortunately doesn't run at the same resolution as the PlayStation and the computer and the other screen. So whenever you give it any major demand on its viewing prowess, like changing from car to car or changing from view to view, it flashes off. Right, so you're saying he might be using the right setup because we restart the lobby, meaning he can change to a wet setup for the race. That is potential. That is potential. So what you're saying is that you lot are just freaking slow, and he is much quicker than you. It's easy enough to say, you know, you are currently leading the championship on 133 points. I could mention that Dino would be if he wasn't such a big... but I'm not going to. That wouldn't be fair. Right, so 104.8 for Crib. Crib, how ironic. How ironic that his name is Crib, bearing in mind that we were just talking about little baby Dino. Yeah, 104.8 for him. Harley. I've got a dog called Harley. How can I get that wrong? Harley in second, 105.5. Ryan and Connor are on row 2. Forza Ferrari and Paggy on row 3. Scuba Bray Train on row 4. Who else is out on the track? There's Toys. Dunners and Toys. They are on row 5. Drew Cam and Dry Bones Malone. Can't believe I forgot to do the voice. On row 6. Twitch Cameron XD is with Fingers on row 7. It's got a couple of minutes left of quali, and it's just become acutely aware to me that I have got to do something, but I'll sort it out in between sessions. Predictions. My predictions for this evening. It's very difficult for me to make a prediction about Crib based on a qualifying time. But you have to say, based on everybody else's quali and how quick that is, I think it would be remiss of me to not include him in predictions for a top 3. I'm not going to outright say I think he's going to win this race, because it could well be, as Forza said earlier, it could be that he's on an incredibly dry setup. He can't reset for a wet setup for the race, and will be in big trouble when the wet stuff comes out and he starts slippy sliding all over the place like a madman. I'll tell you what is good though, it's good to see someone in a Williams driving this quickly in a car that can go that quickly, because the demise of Williams over the last 10 years has been quite upsetting for me. As you know, I'm a fan of McLaren, I'm a fan of Williams. As you know, a very huge fan of Mercedes. Not really. Which you will find quite ironic, actually, that in the EuroTripz F1 podcast that I was on earlier, I actually ranked the Mercedes-Benz livery as the best of the 10 this year, above the beautiful Aston Martin one, only because it is the best one. And whatever the other two guys say, they're talking rubbish, it was the best one. And if that's coming from someone who hates Mercedes, it must be right. So here we go. This is Tripz' hot lap through turn 1, blasting up the hill towards turn 2. No, that's not turn 2. This is turn 2. Screw you, turn numberers. That's turn 2, because the other one is not turn, because you don't slow down. Then you blast back down the hill, so big rise until you get to that point at turn 2. Then you head down on the brakes, get it turned in nice and close on the apex, get on the power, let it drift out onto those rumble strips, which you can't do when it's wet. There are yellow flags, be careful. Gets it turned in again, apex power, that's all you need. And again, round, left hand side, right hand side. How quickly can he go? Can he improve on the 104.8? It's looking pretty darn quick. I'm not sure it's that quick though. Into the final corner. Has he got enough to beat his own time? I don't think he's going to do it. He does. He actually does. By 3/10. That's a 104.5 for Tripz. Harley will join him on row 1 with a 105.5. He's not going to improve on that. That's a second difference between them. Ryan is on row 2. He's got Connor alongside him. 105.6 plays 105.9. Toys and Forza, both, I mean, there's literally nothing between them. You could put a piece of paper between those two cars and it would stay there. And they are both in the same car as well. How cool is that? Paggy and Scuba on row 4. They are the first of the cars in the 106s. There's loads of stuff going on the Discord, and I'm not paying any attention to it apart from the fact it keeps beeping. And I'm going to mute it in a minute. Bro Trader Drew Cam are on row 5. Dunners and Cameron row 6, and Fingers and Dry Bones Malone are on row 7. So an improvement from Fingers, improvement from Cameron. Dunners was at one stage in the top 3. He is now way down in 11th place behind Drew Cam and just ahead of Cameron on row number 6. So just who's left to put in a lap? Nobody, I don't think. I think everybody has now set a lap. So I don't know why it's counting down 1 minute and 21 seconds. I think it's just waiting for Tripz to come home and bring his car home and cover it in a blanket and give it a cuddle and say thank you very much for making me so super duper 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 quick. There we go. There is your pole sitter. Pole. That's your pole sitter. Good performance from him. So, another Dutch driver. Why is it always the bloody Dutch? Yeah, anyway, moving on. I'm not racist at all. There are a lot of black flag racing on Dutch, so it's not a dig at the Dutch at all, including one of my sponsors. Sorry, Aaron. Although actually he's Hungarian, but lives in the Netherlands. Anyway, Tripz is on pole in the Williams car. Harley in the Haas is joining him on the front row. Ryan in the Mercedes-Benz and Connor in the Haas are on row 2. The two Ferraris of Toys and Forza Ferrario on row 3. Paggy and Scuba, Mercedes-Benz and Alpine on row 4. Aston Martin and Red Bull of Drew Cam and Bray Train 9 and 10. Dunners and Twitch Cam, Alpine and Red Bull 11 and 12. And 13 and 14 is Fingers in the McLaren and Dry Bones Malone. And I think, if I remember right, he's in the Alfa Romeo. And if I've remembered that right, I'm a fucking god, and I deserve a medal of sorts. Only a little one, though, because mostly I forget shit. And you are Dutch. No, of course. Listen, I've got a lot of respect for the Dutch, bearing in mind that our primary sponsor, Club Leaf, is a Dutch company. And we do have a number of Dutch drivers in a Black Flag Racing team. And just to point out, Black Flag Racing team, we don't do a lot of stuff on F1 2022. The majority of what we do is on GT7 at the moment, although we are branching out into other things. But we've got a number of World Championships coming up. We have a number of... We've got some quite good drivers, actually. We've got everything from the Alien that also drives Porsches in his spare time, as a test driver, right through to people like me who can't actually drive in a straight line without crashing. But we have a number of World Championships we're competing in. We've just finished the High Prix Porsche Cup with GT Champions. That finished last week. We had 4 competitors in that. We've since recruited a couple of other drivers through the Porsche Cup, actually. Some one of them being a Division 1 and Division 2 driver. So welcome to Black Flag Racing, Slipstream and Kaizen. We will be competing in the Wheelspin Racing Porsche Cup, which starts in 2 weeks' time. And we're also, Black Flag TV will also be a broadcaster for that event. We are just starting the formation lap, so I can carry on talking while we do the formation lap. What else have we got coming up? We've got the obviously the GT Champions World Cup. How can we forget that? The GT Champions World Cup, that begins on the 18th of March. Black Flag Racing TV will be exclusively broadcasting Division 2 and Division 3 this year. Bearing in mind we were only doing Division 4 last year, that's a great promotion for us. We've also got coming up the High Prix Endurance Series. That starts in a week, I think it starts Wednesday. See, for this Wednesday or next Wednesday, I will check. We've got that coming up. We've got the GT Fusion World Team Championships. Now that's quite special because the GT Fusion Championship is the oldest Gran Turismo championship. Long before the FIA got involved, long before they did any sort of online competition themselves, GT Fusion were the very first organised Gran Turismo championship, and it's still running. Last season was like 28 teams, 300 and something drivers over 20 odd divisions, and we are one of the main broadcast teams for that as well, up into the pro groups this year. So yeah, looking forward to that one as well. So a lot of stuff going on for Black Flag. Obviously we've still got our F1 stuff going on. We're still going to be here with EuroTripz. We've got Smoky Pirellis, we've got Late Night Racing, we've got so much going on with Black Flag. This year it's going to be ridiculous. It's actually getting to the stage now where this is becoming a part-time job. So if you want to send me some money, please feel free. I'm only joking. I'm joking seriously. No, I'm not joking. If you really want to send me some money, do. But I'm not. This is not a way of begging for anything at all. Right. Okay. So with cars slipping and sliding all over the place here at Spielberg in the rain, and that's just the formation lap. Really looking forward to seeing how many people end up in a wall when the race starts. So, over to my co-commentator Samuel, who will give us a good start. Where is he? There he is.
Everybody strap in!
Let's have this. So, we'll go on board with the current championship leader, Forza, and we'll see just how quickly people can get away, if they can at all. It's not going to be too grippy out there in these conditions. That's 2 lights, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5. One more light goes out and we will be away. And away they go. And it looks like a pretty good start in the Ferrari. Full wet tyres. And look at that move. Up straight away into second place. We look back. How's it looking in turn 1? A few people wide. There's a spin there in the other Ferrari. But I think we're pretty much okay. Standing, or crib, sorry. Already 1 second clear. Forza Ferrari up into second place. What a start. What a start from Forza. You have to applaud that. Absolute genius drive. Brilliant driving from him. And everyone behind him is feeling kind of this.
How dare you? How dare you?
Right, so Ryan up into 3rd place. Drew Cam is 4th. Cameron in 5th place. All very close. Puggy in 6th. Fingers is up to 7th, which just goes to show how bad a start some people had. And I think we don't need to look at tyres because we know what tyres people are running. It'd be ridiculous to even think about that. Right, so Harley had an absolutely awful start. He's way down in 14th place. Now, you won't need to stop here. 18 laps here in the wet. There is no stopping. It is just balls out racing. Paggy gains a place up to 6th. Fingers gains 6 places up to 7th. Drabones Malone is up 6 places to 8th place. Bray Train, qualified 9th, is 9th. Is the only driver other than Crib to not improve or get worse. Now we're under yellow flags, which means someone is pointing or has been pointing in the wrong direction. Who's going to pit? Well, Forza's into the pits, oddly. Is that for intermediate tyres? I imagine it probably is. Connor in 9th place, Scuba is in 10th, Harley is in 11th place. 9 places lost there. Forza down 6 after going into the pits, but has come back out on the intermediate tyres. Dunners also out of the pits. I imagine, knowing Dunners, he'd probably come out on the bloody softs. No, that is the That's the wet compound tyres. So they've done a start on the inters then. And Toys in the Ferrari got spun around and is on the wet compound tyre. And while I was waffling during the space in between the two, I forgot to go and do what I was going to do. I'll be back in 30 seconds. Apologies for that, I have returned. It's good to know that you're in the hands of a professional, right? Of course it is. So Crib still in the lead. He's already... Now, we were questioning whether it was some kind of crazy dry setup, and he was just not that quick, really. Turns out that was bullshit. He's already 5.1 seconds clear. We're on lap 3. I mean, it does help that Forza went into the pits early doors. So Crib is out there. He's on the wet compound tyres. He's 5.2 seconds clear of Ryan, who's gained a place. He's also on the wet compound tyres. Drew Cam. I drew a cam once. It didn't look anything like a cam, and people didn't know what it was. And they said, "What's that?" And I said, "It's a cam." And they said, "You draw it?" I said, "Yes." He's 1.1 seconds behind Ryan. The other cam, the Twitch cam. He is also on the wet compound tyres. He's in 4th place. He has gained 8. That's right, 8 places already. This is lap 4 of 14. That's 2 places a lap. And if it continues as it is, he could very well be in the lead very soon. As Forza Ferrario demonstrates just how quick he is by putting in the fastest lap of the race so far, straight after Crib does it. Paggy up into 4th place, 3 places gained for Paggy. That's not a bad start, is it? No, it's not. Did I mention this? I hope I did. There we go. Anyway, moving on. So far, we've already got a DNF. That's Bray Train. Unfortunately, Bray Train is out of this race. So whoever had to be an Australian has done that. I think they've got to beat Australians and Brits though, so they've got to beat a few Brits as well. But Paggy in 4th place, just half a second back from Cameron. Also on the wet compound tyres, Dry Bones Malone. It's not dry today, it's Wet Bones Malone today in the Alfa Romeo. He is running in 4th place. But how long will that be for? Because behind him is this guy in the... I was going to say the Alfa Romeo, but he's not. He's in the Mercedes, in the Ferrari. His name's Forza Ferrari. He's in a freaking Ferrari. Gets it right. This is where he qualified. We saw him disappearing off the line early doors. Now he has opted to go for the intermediate tyres, and it's looking like this was an absolute masterstroke as he breezes past Dry Bones Malone up into 4th place. That is looking like one of the smartest decisions you've ever seen. Now Crib was first. Crib is now in 8th, so it doesn't always go the way you want, no matter how quick you are. Connor is down in 6th place, lost 2 places. Fingers has gained 6 places. I've got a thing for Fingers. What did I do with it? Actually, I think I've forgotten to put it on. I had a thing for Fingers. I've not used it. You survive 1 more week of abuse. Crib is back. Is in 8th place. He lost all those places and didn't go too well, but he's making a move on Fingers. Can he make it stick? Well, yes, he can. Actually, I think he went in the pits and put on the inters. He did. He went into pits and put on the inters. I should be paying attention to all the drivers, really, not just the ones I'm looking at. It's because my screen's really small. I do apologise. I haven't got my big screen. When I get my big screen back, it will be better, I promise. So Fingers in 8th place. Harley lost 7 places, still on those wet tyres. Is that Connor jumping in now to put on the intermediates? Does he feel ready for the less grippy, more slippy? Scuba in 9th, down 1 place. Ryan is down 7 places. I think Ryan has now put on the inters. Yes, he has. Good chat earlier with Ryan on the EuroTripz F1 Podcast, which you can find on Spotify and in all good other podcast places. 6.4 seconds back is Connor. Toys coming into the pits now, which is changed onto the intermediate tyres. And Dunners, who has been in the pits and has the wets on, is up to 12th, but is adrift. Very, very far adrift. And he's pulling a face which will not be unsimilar to this one.
My dog stepped on a bee.
This guy only knows how to drive and starting first.
I'm joking, that's not actually true about you Dunners at all. Okay, so Drew Cam in the lead, 9 places gained. But Crib, that is very, very close there. Forza making his way up into second place. He is on a massive, massive charge at the minute. It's a bit like this, isn't it?
Leroy Dragons!
And he's up to second place and just 0.7 of a second behind Drew Cam, and that is closing really, really fast. He hasn't crashed yet, but he is going very, very quickly. I'm sure it will happen soon. No, I'm only joking. So Drew Cam still on the wet tyres. It looks like this is purely intermediate driving tyres now. So those on the inters really making a charge. And you can see just how close, look how close Forza is here. Looking up the inside of that Red Bull car. And you can see the Red Bull can't even get itself onto the apexes. So Drew Cam and Twitch Cameron both in the Red Bull. Cam and Cam. If anyone Cam. Is he going to pull around into the pits? Now he's staying out for another lap. Now is this because he believes the track is going to get moister and it's worth staying out for that purpose? Crib on the intermediate tyres up to third place, closing down on the back of Drew Cam. Apologies for that, I needed a drink. Closing down on the back of Drew Cam. Scuba, 9 seconds is the gap between the top three and everybody else right now. Now, surprisingly, we are not far off the halfway point here. One more lap and we are halfway through this 18-lap sprint race. And we've only lost in the rain Bray Train. We've only lost in the rain Bray Train. He was one of them. And he'll be watching the race from the garage. So everybody in the top 5, bar Crib, is in the position higher than the position they started the race. Crib now trying to chase down Forza, but Forza opening up that gap. He's already 2 seconds clear out the front and wants to stay that way. But if you look at the time tumbling, as standing Crib tries to make the move forward. And I said I'd pick a name for him, but I haven't actually picked one yet. I think we'll see what has stuck by the end of the race. That's the one you can have. I could just call you 4, couldn't I? Drew Cam is in third. Scuba in 4th place. Fingers running in 5th place. Him and Scuba on their own part of the racetrack. Ryan is 4.9 seconds back. He's on the inters. 3 places dropped for him. But still some racing to go. Paggy, you know what? Paggy started there. Is still there. He's on the inter tyres. Doing all right. 1.7 behind Ryan at the moment. 2.2 back to Connor. 4 places dropped for him. Drabons Malone has gained 5 places from the qualifying position. 3.3 seconds off the back of Connor on the intermediate tyres. Cameron moving up, making the move there, and that's a really, really good move by Harley, getting up into 10th place as Cameron makes the move closer, and we just see Harley making that move. But they are side by side, heading up towards this left-hander. With the inside line, though, Harley should be able to take this, and the wise thing from Cameron there is just to back out, trying to snatch the inside line back from him. Can't do it, so just tucks in behind in 11th place. But not giving this up by any stretch of the imagination, and might be close enough with a bit of slipstream to help out, help him out, shall I say, on the start-finish straight. But Harley just opening up that gap a little bit now. 22 seconds back to Dunners. He's still on those wet tyres. Everybody I think everybody, if I'm correct, has been in the pits. Bar Drew Cam, Scuba and Fingers. Everybody else has been in the pits. And if you look at the tyres, it's very clear that those two are still on the wets. Dunners is still on the wets. So actually, Drew Cam, Scuba and Fingers are doing all right on those wet tyres in 3rd, 4th and 5th. Is it on the cusp? I mean, you can see that Forza and Crib are doing a very, very good job on the intermediate tyres. Ryan, Paggy, Connor, Drybones Malone, Harley, Twitch Cameron, they're all on those intermediate tyres and all doing a relatively good job on them. But at the moment, 3 of the top 5 have opted to stay on the wet compound tyres, as has Dunners. Now, when I'm looking at what is a really smart strategy, I have to look at Dunners because so many times this season, both here and in LNR on a Tuesday, he's demonstrated that he just has that ability to pick a strategy that nobody else necessarily is brave enough to start with. And I've seen him win races, and a race that potentially won him the championship because he was brave enough to put on soft tyres when everybody else was running wets or inters. I think that was a Spa. And I've seen him put on inters when everybody else was running soft. So he is capable of pulling out a kind of smart strategy. The fact he's still running on wets says to me he sees something on the horizon. It could mean, it could also mean that he's had a brain fart and it's all going horribly wrong. But from my experience, doesn't suggest that in the slightest. No penalties, which is interesting. So Forza Ferrario in the lead of this race, but his gap is cut down to under 1 second. Crib is starting to close that gap in the Williams racing car. And Forza's got his work cut out to hold on to this lead. I mean, obviously, if he does, great news for him. As Crib puts in, the fastest lap rate was a 1:14.5, which in these conditions is not at all shabby. There we go, there he's standing, and that's the view he's got from the front of his car. They're actually coming up to lap. Is that Toys they're coming up to lap? I think it is, you know. Who's that they're coming up to lap? It's, yeah, so they've got Toys just ahead of them. That's Toys there. There's Forza, there's Crib, and then we've got Dunners will be the next target for them. So this is how quick they are, and standing is 1.2 behind. He can't, when he does break that 1 second barrier, Forza just adds a little bit of pace, just whips a little bit more out from somewhere, so he's clearly holding something back just in case. Best of the rest of the moment there is Drew Cam, 11 seconds behind those front two, but still on the wet compound tyres. Interestingly, Drew Cam, Scuba and Fingers, none of them decided to pit. And while the intermediate tyres have worked for some, in fact worked for most, these guys opted to stay on the wets, and for them it's worked out really well. Particularly Drew Cam. He's 12 seconds behind the front two, but he's comfortably in that top 3 on lap 13 of 18 here in this sprint race. And Scuba 8 seconds behind. It's going to, and bear in mind that he's on the same tyres as him, same age, same tyres. It's going to be difficult. Fingers 2.2 seconds back, might not necessarily be quite so comfortable. He has got Ryan charging down at the back of him. For any of the new viewers who jumped in, Ryan is the guy that I was in the EuroTripz F1 Podcast with earlier, which you can find on Spotify. And if you don't understand the reference, I'm not going to keep explaining, but it's to do with the TG trophy. And if I haven't got my point by now, I don't know how. Ryan having a look up the inside, didn't feel it was worthy of doing there. Did it there though, because he went very wide, did Fingers. A lot wider than you would expect Fingers to go. And Ryan moves up comfortably into second place and tucks nicely in front. And Forza picking up a penalty. That is disastrous, because now Crib can just, he doesn't even have to overtake him on the racetrack. He can just tuck him behind him there. He doesn't have to worry about pushing too hard. He just has to finish within 3 seconds. That's a bit of a disaster there for Forza. And clearly he's feeling the strain of Crib chasing him down. 3.8 seconds back is Connor. He's on the intermediate tyres. Fingers on the wet is his next target. He's going to have to take a second a lap out of him if he wants to take this. In fact, it's going to have to be more than that, because the gap was just over 4 seconds, and we are on lap 14, and we're not far away from the end of lap 14. In fact, we're just about to start lap 15. So yeah, 1 second a lap is what he needs. I was about to answer Kelsey in the television message on Discord, and I was acutely aware that he's asking Discord and not YouTube. But the fact he's not on YouTube and watching when he's waiting is it's a fucking travesty, in all fairness. And I will be reporting it to the union. And 13 viewers in, and hello every single one of you. Have you got nothing better to do on a Friday night than listen to this beardy fat weirdo shout at people driving pixelated Formula 1 cars? Clearly not. Welcome to my world. Harley running in 8th place, tucked in behind his Haas teammate Connor. Just 0.2 of a second. Is he got anything in that car on those intermediate tyres? Bear in mind, they're both on the inters. So has he got anything that can just edge him past Connor and give him an extra position? They haven't got to worry about Dry Bones Malone behind, who's on 2.1 seconds back with a 3-second penalty. So actually drop behind Paggy, who is a further 2.4 seconds back. Forza is still holding off the charge of Crib. But let's be fair, Crib has such an advantage with that 3-second penalty carried by Forza. And there is Harley. He is now around Connor, up into 7th position. Driver's Malone in 9th is Paggy in 10th place. Cameron in 11th, 1.8 seconds back off the back of Paggy. Dunner's not having the best race of Dunner's career, in fairness. The less said about that, better. The current LNR champion, of course, is he's top 3 in this championship. Let's not count him out just yet, but he is not having the greatest of races here at the moment in 12th place. And Toys is just playing, man. He's just playing in that Ferrari, and he's 28 seconds back. But there is Forza. Let's have a look at that is what he sees. In the very limited view he has in his mirrors, that is the Williams of Crib bearing down him. Girls, I'm just joking. I don't know why I'm answering Kells, he's not even in the video. Let me reply to Kells in the Discord because he's made a little cry, shall we? While we watch. No, actually, I don't want to miss this action, to be fair, because it could be going off and I don't know what's going on. Forza's still holding on though. He's still holding on. So I'm going to go on after Kells very quickly. Here we go. There we go. Question is answered. Right, so Forza did stay ahead. If I'd missed that overtake Kells, I would have spent the entire evening making horrible jokes about the size of your enormous left testicle. So Forza's still in the lead, but alas, that 3-second penalty is going to guarantee he doesn't finish the race there. Listen, he's not going to give up first place that easily. Let's be completely honest about this, because whatever penalty you have, and actually I did an interview with one of the drivers the other day. They made it very clear that even if they know they're going to lose a place for a penalty or not gain a place for an overtake because of a penalty, they're still going for that place irrespective, and that's what makes good racers. Forza at the moment holding on to first. As far as he's concerned, he finishes first. He knows he's got the penalty, but he's still going to see that as a big win. Standing Crib, because most Cribs are lying down, of course, is 6/10 back. They're the front two, and they will be the front two, bar an absolute royal fuck up. And Crib is doing the sensible thing. What he's doing is sitting in behind. He knows that Forza's got that 3-second penalty. To try and make an overtake on lap 17 of 18, when you have a 25-second lead over the guy sitting in 3rd place, is a monumentally stupid thing to do in the rain at Red Bull. You're much better off taking the guaranteed win and not making that move, as cool as it might seem, but not making that move, because if it goes wrong and you're both out, you hand the win to this guy here, Drew Cam, who's sitting very comfortably in 3rd. 27.5 seconds he sits behind those front two of Forza and Crib. Ryan in 4th place, 3.3 seconds back. It's a lot of work he's got to do, and to be fair, at the moment his concern is this guy. Harley's on a charge. He's got past Scuba. He is now crawling up behind Ryan. They're on the final lap, of course. It's going to be very, very difficult at this stage for him to do anything about it. But it only takes a back end wobble, a wheel on the grass, the slightest error in judgment. And I wouldn't put it past Harley to try and chuck one up the inside and see what comes out of it. So, let's go on board with Forza Ferrari. Let's watch Forza Ferrari. Heads down into the final corner. That was someone else crossing the line. I don't know who that was. There's Forza. He crossed the line in first. Stanley comes home in second, but takes first because of the penalty. This is Drew Cam in the Red Bull Racing car, who will come around this little section. He's so far back, though. So much to do. We're going to see other cars finishing. No, we won't, because he's still got a lap to do. Who is that? I think that's Toys just completing lap 17. Will be lap 16. So there we go. There is your 3rd place man, Drew Cam. He finishes in 3rd place there. The Haas of Harley in 4th. He did get past Ryan in the end, but penalty made sure Ryan kept it. Connor in 6th. Scuba in 7th place. Drybones Malone comes home in 8th, but Fingers nicks that in 9th place. 8th place off of him. Cameron in 10th. Paggy in 11th. Dunners in 12th when he gets home. And Toys finishes in 13th. Bray Train was... But there he is. There's your winner. Standing Crib. 497. Apparently there are 496 others called Standing Crib. Yeah, so there we go. All done and dusted. That's the race done. There's your race winner. He might be, well, it says driver of the day for the Ferrari, and I would go with that because his start was absolutely stonking. He started in 6th and was already in 2nd by the time they got to turn 1. Yeah, brilliant racing from everyone. Race number 2 though is going to be a 50% race, and it's going to be dry. And you know what that means at Red Bull Ring, don't you? It means that at some point somebody's going to have to wake me up. No, I'm sure that's not going to be the case. Now, let's be clear. One person crashed when it was wet. One person crashed when it was wet. If anything more than one person crashed in the dry, I'm going to rip you a new one. And I've got plenty of things on here to do that with. Such as...
I crashed.
You crashed! How are you coming fast?
And many, many other things.
Bye-bye.
And yes, there are other things on there. But anyway, let's have the full rundown from the sprint race. Crib wins for Williams Racing ahead of Forza Ferrari in the Ferrari. Drew Cam for Red Bull ahead of Ryan in the Mercedes AMG Petronas. Harley in the Haas ahead of his teammate Connor in the Haas. Scuba in the Alpine in 7th. Fingers in 8th in the McLaren. Drabones Malone in the Alfa Romeo in 9th place ahead of Cameron in the Red Bull. 11th was Paggy in the Mercedes ahead of Dunners in the Alpine. Toys in the Ferrari brings up the rear in 13th place. And Bray Train in the Aston Martin was... did not finish. So on we go to the next race. So back very shortly, and I did that within time. It's not often I get that done within the allocated time to me. So just waiting for the next race. There'll be a short break in between. Back very, very quickly. Back in the room. Congratulations to Crib. First race with EuroTripz. First win with EuroTripz over Forza. But Forza does increase his lead at the top of the championship. Shall we have another look at that? Which is there. This is how the championship race currently looks. Harley would have improved his position, but wouldn't have closed the gap on Forza quite so much. Good race from Forza there, even though he had a penalty at the end, has opened up that gap at the top. Dunner's quite a poor performance there, but is saved by the fact that Bray Train did not finish. Ryan would have closed the gap somewhat. Wolsey not racing tonight. Axe not racing either. Drybones Malone will improve a little bit. That's your top 8. We only show the top 8 because we don't care about anybody else, because we are not equal opportunities broadcasters. Well, I am. I'm an equal opportunity broadcaster, but I don't control the standings. That's down to EuroTripz themselves, and they hate you if you can't finish in the top 8, and that's true. I'll tell you where they don't hate you though. Is on the EuroTripz F1 podcast, which I'm a guest this week. Seriously, this thing will never need plugging again, or hopefully it'll never need plugging again. But I am a little bit worried you're going to get me on every bloody week, and have me plugging it for the TG Trophy, but then I'll probably win the TG Trophy as well because it'll be easy to do. No, to be fair, it was a good little conversation we had, and Ryan, Sam, and I had a little chat about the pre-season and what we think of the cars, what we think who's going to be a surprise package, who we think is going to win the championship, both constructor and driver. It was a good little pre-season natter. Of course, the Bahrain Grand Prix are 3 o'clock on Sunday. Qualifying is tomorrow. I think it's at 2 o'clock. I can't remember. But anyway, just waiting for the feature race to begin. And of course, the feature race will be a reverse grid from the top 10 drivers. I'm very disappointed. My microphone's not working. Not properly anyway. I will have to look into that issue probably tomorrow. I don't need to do it today. I haven't got the Porsche Cup today, of course. We have talked about what's coming up on Black Flag TV. Have we talked about what's coming up with Black Flag Racing itself? Obviously, we've got our outside competitions. We've got many drivers competing across the world. And if you are interested in racing for Black Flag Racing on Gran Turismo 7, we do have many different competitions across many different time zones, and there's plenty of GT racing for all, from short format racing right through to very specialist endurance racing, including sort of 12 hours at Daytona and Bathurst and that kind of thing as well. We've got a number of really good drivers that can help you with your training, from the incredibly elite to the just slightly quicker than you kind of scenario. Give us a shout if you're interested. And equally, if you're not a current F1 2022 participant and you're watching, because you are a fan of Black Flag Racing TV, get yourself the game and get involved. Particularly here, this is a good place to start out. And nothing against the guys here. I'm not suggesting for a minute that these guys can't race quickly. They can. But it's a good place to start because there's a good spread of ability. And these guys will give you some help in terms of improving your lap times. Let's face it, Fingers is absolute dog shit, and he's doing all right. Sorry, Darryl. I'm clearly not listening tonight because you would have told me to fuck off by now. So that much is obvious. I'm assuming that you are in the room, the kids are sleeping. So in terms of Black Flag Racing itself, in terms of our own events, we've got we're back with round 3 of the Staying Power Endurance Series tomorrow. That is 2 hours around St. Croix in the Group 1. The Group 1 cars, so a lot of LMP cars and that kind of shenanigans. And it is unrestricted Group 1, so we're going to have cars from... we'll have a 90% chance of beating you. Possibly. You never know. So the Staying Power tomorrow, we're in the Group 1 cars, so we're looking at cars through the ages, everything from the kind of the big kind of Le Mans Porsches through to the older kind of LMP1 cars and that kind of scenario. Sunday, not much going on Sunday. I think there's a couple of practice events for the upcoming wheel spin racing Porsche Cup. I think we'll probably do a couple of Samba bus races after that, just to fuck about. That's the sort of thing we do, is we'll do some serious stuff, and then we'll try and drive a Samba bus up the hill at Bathurst, or take it out to the desert and try and jump it over sand dunes, and other crazy shit. Or we'll put a Cosworth engine in a Samba bus and then race them. That kind of craziness. Monday is, it's the start of a new competition for us Monday. We've just finished the GR4 lottery, of which Wiggy was unfortunately lost out on the championship right at the last minute. Yeah, I think you should do, and I think you should come back and race with us on GT. I wasn't going to mention the fact that you'd left us. I thought you were just a little bit intimidated by our prowess. No, I'm only joking. Yeah, so Monday we've got the it's called Gauntlet. So essentially what happens is everyone turns up into the lobby. No one knows, even me, what cars we're using, what the settings are, what track it is, anything like that. And then everyone will get in, and once everyone's ticked in and ready to go, I will roll my randomizer. And I have a specialist randomizer for Gran Turismo. And it will roll the track, it will roll the settings, it will roll the car. We're going to do it on car classes rather than specific cars, but we're going to roll all of those things, and then they then they race. And the great thing about that is you don't get an opportunity to disappear for 6 hours before the race and practice, which tends to happen quite a lot. Is that people go off and they'll practice for hours and hours and hours on end, and sometimes that can be a little bit boring, especially if 10 people racing it and 10 people have all raced each other, or 20 people, whatever it is. So this will be quite interesting because it will be down to how well do you remember the track, how well do you remember the car. So we've got that for starters. Then Wednesday we're back with the Open GR3. We're coming towards the end of that tournament. Kevin is running, well I say running away with it, he's only just retaken the lead in the championship there in the GR3. And the guy he's just taken the lead back from, PM10 Racing, is back from America this week, and will absolutely be looking to snatch back the lead of that championship. And it's really hotly contested between them two. And I can tell you that season 1 was won by Kevin, but there were 2 instances where PM10 could have and should have won it. And he he put the intermediate tyres on by accident instead of the softs, and another one he got himself squirrely on the grass and ended up in a wall. In fact, if you want to see PM10 making another cock up, just watch our intro video, because that car spinning at the corkscrew at Laguna Seca is actually PM10 Racing trying to dive up the inside and nick first place, having actually had a crash on lap 1 60 minutes before that and being last, and got himself into the top 3, tried to go for an ambitiously crazy move into the corkscrew at Laguna Seca on the final lap, and ended up losing second to end up, I think it was 3rd or 4th in that race in the end. But you can see that craziness on our intro video. I kept it just to remind him that he sometimes he's not as quick as he thinks he is. Then Thursday we've got our rivals competition, which is the Mitsubishi Evo, the Mitsubishi Evo versus the Subaru WRX. It did start out as a team competition. There are 2 teams of 6, but they haven't been team racing since week 1. It's basically every man for himself. If we were counting team points, the Evo is kicking the shit out of the WRX. But in reality, I think it would be a lot closer if there were more team tactics involved. But that's hotting up, and Kevin is absolutely dominating that. He has won every single race in the series so far. Somebody has been practicing. A WWE 2K22 league going. It sounds complex, incredibly, because that would just blow my mind. Absolutely blow my mind. I used to be a very, very big fan of WWE. Back before it was called WWF when I first got into it. I was a very big fan. But my knowledge of WWE stretches back to people like the Hart Foundation, you know, Hulk Hogan when he wasn't old, Ric Flair, all that kind of era. It's a very different animal now, and I find those games incredibly complicated. There's too many buttons to remember, and you know, and especially I don't know, it's not my thing. And I certainly don't think there's any room for a commentator on that shit. But there we go. Each to their own. Each to their own. Yeah, so basically that is a week in the life of Black Flag Racing on GT7. Everything else in between is, until the World Championship start that we talked about earlier, is basically F1 2022. Tuesdays and Thursdays with Smoking Pirellis. The Tier 1 on Thursday, the Tuesday League on Tuesday, obviously. And straight after the Tuesday League for Smoking Pirellis, it is the Late Night Racing League, which is into the new season, Season 7, which is going to be awesome. Absolutely awesome. Been looking forward to Season 7 for some time. That's this week from Tuesday. And then, of course, we're back on Thursday with some more of this shit with these bunch of reprobates at EuroTripz. There we go. So, just waiting for, it was 26 seconds. I have filled in far too much time waffling about random shit while this lot to drink and smoke and shit. Yeah, come on, let's go on with it. We've got, what was it, 13 laps? I think we're looking at, what, 26 laps? Or was it 18 laps? It was 18 laps, wasn't it? Was it 16 laps? I can't remember. Yeah, I think it's 30, 42, 52 laps. 32 laps. 32 laps, I think it is. 32 laps. And it's going to be dry, which means that nobody should crash because you only got 7 corners. No, not even that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 7 corners. 7, that's it. If you can't drive around a track with 7 corners without crashing, then I'm trying to think if I've got something for you. Then
This guy only knows how to drive and starting first.
so on pole will be, I can't remember who finished in 10th. Can you? I think it was Cameron, wasn't it? It was Cameron finished in 10th. So he will start on the pole position for Cameron. Pole. Just wait for everyone to get involved. Hello to the 10 people watching. Turn 2 is difficult, but turn 1 is even more complicated because you've got essentially 14 cars within a couple of tenths of each other, apart from the one idiot who invariably will crash from the start or go slowly. But you've essentially got 14 cars barreling into a corner where you can go 2 wide. 3 wide if you're really, really talented. But basically 2 wide. And then you're going to barrel up the hill into turn 2. I think by the time you get up there, enough people will have crashed into turn 1. Or at least slowed down going through turn 1 to make turn 2 a little less treacherous. I would actually be worried more about turn 3 if that many people are barreling into turn 2 together and get through it safely. Because if you've got 14 cars barreling towards turn 3, there is going to be some carnage in the gravel. I need to change out my batteries, innit? Who started the lobby? I don't know. Who did start the lobby? That was a message on something that wasn't here on that. Right. While we do the formation up, I'm going to change the batteries in my vape. If you can see my little corner, I've basically got an entire corner of my front room, which is just all of my stuff, basically just piled into like a little part of one room. Not my clothes, obviously, that would be ridiculous. But literally everything I own or play with or touch is in this little corner. I suppose very red one sitting here, and that includes my penis. So it is toys that leads them out. I thought it was going to be Cameron. Harley, why are you ninth? That is a really, really good point. Because it shouldn't Standing be 10th, Forza be 9th, Drew Cam, Ryan, something's gone wrong somewhere, because Kells and Bray Train were in the right place, absolutely. Bray Train did not finish, and Kells has only just joined us. But it's got a little bit wrong. Oh well. One or two things is going to happen. We're either going to sort it out or we're not. So let's see what happens. So let's go on board, assuming they don't restart the lobby, which I don't think they will. Let's go on board with Cameron. Yeah, let's go on board with Cameron. On the outside in the Red Bull, which, to be fair, is probably the safest place to be, barreling into turn 1. I was reverse grid from 13th. Okay, that makes more sense. I thought it was reverse grid from 10th, but you know, I often stand corrected. Do you know where I didn't stand corrected? On the EuroTripz Formula 1 podcast, which is available now on Spotify. Yeah, boy, segue, baby. Right, here we go. Why is Drive Modes Malone already? Has he had a full start? So that's 5 lights. They will go out, and away we go. We should have looked at Forza actually. He had a crazy start last time. Good start from Cameron though. He has to get on the brakes a little bit earlier than he would have liked to. He started barreling towards that Mercedes. But great move. Cameron up into 4th place. We look behind. There's a car on the grass. But mostly everyone looks through to have got through okay. Let's drop down the order to see where people are. There's Ryan. He is 1.3 seconds back from Bray Train, so he's lost some places. Bray Train's lost nothing. That's where he started. Kells, that's some movement from Kells. Look at that. Kells absolutely barreling through, up into 10th place already, making the move up the inside. There's a nice little move. Dry Bones Malone, was he Dry Bones? No, it was Forza. Forza making the move. Trying to anyway, standing ahead in 10th place. This is going to be a good race between these two. And the last thing that either of these two will want is a car between them. They'll want to be duking this out together. Mono, and Kells making a move up to 10th. But let's be fair, Kells is no slouch here. Looking at tyres, and there's a spin. There is a spin from Standing Crib.
You can't park that there, mate.
How can you join the league, Gabriel? If you hang around, I will, when I get an opportunity, I will send you an invite to the Discord in the chat. And if it's not on the chat, you will find it. I'll make sure I put it in the description at the end of the race. How about that? How does that suit you? Yeah, I'll sort that out for you, I promise. But let's keep on with the action. So Standing Crib, who lost quite a lot of places there, won race number 1, of course, won that first race. And as we see, Bray Train diving into the pits. So Donna's up into the lead of this race. And I don't think he's 1 minute ahead of Paggy. We'll wait for that to sort itself out. And thank you for joining us, Gabriel, by the way. Are you here supporting anyone in particular? Or did you find us because of my dulcet tones out on the airwaves calling to Formula 1 fans on a Friday? That was... who? Was that Drew Cam disappearing off the track at a rapid rate? I think it might be. No, I don't think it was Cameron. I think it was Drew Cam. Drew Cam getting sucked up by Harley there. Harley moving up into 6th place. Trying to kind of find where... yeah. Well, yes. So hang on with us, Gabriel. Give us a little subscription, or you've obviously subscribed and you'll get to talk. Drop us a little like, and I will make sure, and it will remind me actually, to put it in the chat. In fact, I will do it. When we go into when we settle into the race a little bit, and there's nothing much going on, I will dive in and make sure I send you a Discord invite. I'm assuming you have Discord, of course. So Dunner leads. Dunner? Yeah, there's no Z on the end of his name. His name's just Dunner. And I don't know why I got that wrong, but Dunner's leads 2.5 seconds from Connor in the Haas. Good performance from Connor so far. Cameron up to third place. Who was that facing in the wrong direction? Somebody facing in the wrong direction. Well, Fingers is certainly facing in the wrong direction. Where is he? There he is. He's ghosted out because he wasn't doing too well. Crib back up and running. Connor dropping way down. And another, so many cars just facing in the wrong direction.
You can't park that there, mate.
But so far, no DNFs. We're having more cars sliding around all over the place than we did. And who's that? That's the Ferrari of Toys facing in the wrong direction. Dropping down the order. There goes Dry Bones Malone. There goes Scuba. And Toys down to 13th place. We're better off running from the back. So, Bray Train runs in 15th. He is 15.1 seconds back from Fingers, the man who's not allowed near primary schools. No, I'm joking. That's not true. It's not true. He's allowed into primary schools whenever he wants to. Especially if he pays the... No, I'm joking. Seriously, he's allowed at primary schools. Fingers running in 14th place. Crib, that is not part of the racetrack.
You can't park that there, mate.
Getting back up and running, though, from 13th place. So, yeah, incredible pace in race number 1. 36 laps to go. Look, it's not all over for him. We've seen the pace that Crib can offer. Of course, won the sprint race. But a lot of work to do from that position. 1 second up the road, there is Kells. Showed initial promise moving through the order in the Aston Martin into the pits. Now goes Kells. There is Toys, named after my wife's favourite thing. Scuba, 1.5 seconds up the road. 8 tenths behind Dry Bones Malone in the Alfa Romeo. A good run so far from Dry Bones Malone, but a penalty on board will ensure that it might not continue. Connor is 7 seconds up the road in 8th place in the Haas. Initially was in second, dropped down that order on the medium compound tyres, of course. Drew Cam in the second of the 2 Red Bull Racing cars. Running in 7th place is just 9 tenths behind Ryan. Of course, we now have DRS here. 3 DRS zones here at the Red Bull Ring, or the Austria Ring, whatever you want to call it. But Ryan is half a second back from Forza Ferrari, second in the feature race. Currently leads the championship before the sprint race with 133 points. So not huge amounts. That is Fingers coming out of the pits and is about to be lapped by Forza Ferrari. Not a great race from Fingers thus far. 4th place for Forza, of course. A big win here is what he really needs, because it will open up that gap at the top of the leaderboard. Paggy running in 3rd place. 307 drivers. Is it 07 or 07 or what? What's the 07 reference? Is it the beginning of your phone number? Who knows? But Paggy running in 3rd place in the Mercedes. Currently half a second back from Cameron. And 5.6 seconds ahead is this man here, Dunners, on those medium compound tyres. And for how badly he performed in the rain during the sprint race, it's just a different quality of driving here for Dunners in this feature race. Just absolutely dominating. Fingers gets a penalty at the back of the pack, 29 seconds back, penalty to boot. It's not a good day to be Fingers. It's a bad day to be Fingers. It's never a good day to just be Fingers. Because you can't go anywhere, you can't walk, you can't talk, it's just Fingers, but there we go. Anyway, Dunners in the lead of this race. Cameron is 5.9 seconds behind, and there's Paggy trying to close in on the back of that Red Bull Racing car in the Mercedes. And it's unusual to see a Mercedes chasing down a Red Bull quite so closely anymore. That's a thing of the past. Now Lewis Hamilton doesn't have his unfair car advantage. And it's very clear that now he doesn't have the unfair car advantage. We see a little bit more of...
This guy only knows how to drive starting first.
Yes, he does. He only learns to drive when he starts in first. We've had no retirement so far, which is a good thing. We've seen a lot of cars sideways, we've seen a lot of cars backwards, we've seen a lot of cars in the gravel. But so far, everybody is safely alive. Paggy is trying to close, desperately trying to close. There's the front wing. There's the front wing open, and there's crashing all down. There's the rear wing open with the DRS, and trying to close down on Cameron, but Cameron just holding Paggy at bay for the time being. Ford's Ferrari are under some pressure from Ryan, actually, both on the medium tyres. Ryan looking really, really strong here without the wet conditions. Round the outside maybe, going for the little switcheroo, goes a little bit wide. Ford does an incredibly good job just holding off any kind of move up the inside, and that was
Denied.
absolutely denied. Ryan has to think of another plan to get his way around the current championship leader. 1.9 seconds back to Connor, Scottish driver, like you ever would have guessed with a name like Connor, of course. 3-second time penalty for Cameron. That is added to a previous penalty already earned, and will certainly drop him behind Paggy's. Paggy's making that move on Cameron. And just give Dunners a little bit more of a cushion. 1.8 back to Drew Cam in the second Red Bull. Comfortable at the moment, not really closing on Connor. Is on the medium tyres, of course, but has a nice, decent 7.5 second gap to Drabons Malone, who is running in 8th place with Scuba and Harley and Toys all within DRS distance. It does create a bit of a DRS trade, but it also creates a bit of a problem as Scuba goes wide and Harley just ducks up the inside, says thank you very much for that, I will take that. That is a brilliant little thingy for me.
You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words.
Empty words, Greta. You're so right. Stole it with the empty words. Scuba running in 11th place now. Toys got through as well. Crib, who in qualifying was absolutely phenomenal. And in race number 1, equally phenomenal in the rain. This time out though, 12th place, and any hope of putting some frighteners on Forza not really at play right now. Back in 12th place, half a second back from Scuba, as Harley makes the move on Dry Bones Malone up into 7th place, and Brake Train, and that is an accident. That is our first retirement from this race. Toys will be and must be thinking this right now.
How dare you?
Thank you, Greta, for joining us this evening. So Toys out of this race, and who got damaged in that? I think that was Brake Train. Took some damage during that, so had to go into, or did Brake Train just capitalise on being in the right place at the right time? So we made it 10 laps, 1/3 into this race at the Red Bull Ring before we started thinking about car repairs. So we only lost one in race number 1. Only one in race number 1, and that was wet. We've lost Toys. This is lap 10. We are now under, of course, safety car conditions. Where is the safety car? There is the safety car, and Cameron will duck in behind that Aston Martin. And so thank you very much. I'm in this beautiful Red Bull car. It's not that beautiful, it's alright. Tucked in behind a beautiful Aston Martin, but I have to go, I'm going to be honest, and I say this every time, if you ask me to pick a safety car, I would rather the AMG Mercedes. I prefer it. I think it's a better looking car. It's meaner looking, and it's quicker, and it's just a better car. However, if Aston Martin want to send me one of those to play with for the weekend, I will swear blind that the AMG is a big bag of shit. If you listen to Mercedes, I don't mean it. Send me a Mercedes instead. Yeah, that was a big crash. You're absolutely right, Gabriel. That gives me an opportunity, actually, to get you the Discord link. Should I do that right now? Let's do that. Fingers is going to have a chance to catch up, but I know Fingers quite well, and I can tell you now that he could have a month and he still wouldn't freaking catch up. Invite people, there's the Discord link copied, and let's drop it in there. There you go, Gabriel. There's the Discord link for you, my friend. Get involved with that. Ryan will sort you out and find you a car driving. We're on round. Please don't call me sir. It will go to my head, and I will start acting like I'm actually quite important. I am, but I won't. I don't like to act like it. We're on race 9. There are, including this, 4 races remaining. So we go to round 12. So 3 races left, which will give you a chance to get involved in, in getting to know how it works and all that kind of thing, and learning the setup. So Cameron leads the way, stuck in behind the safety car. Here's an interesting fact for those of you that may or may not play GT7. So they did an update, a massive update on the PlayStation, so you could use VR2. And I've seen what VR2 looks like when you drive on GT7. It's freaking amazing. The only problem was what they also did was absolutely fucked up the camera angles on spectating. So we get six camera angles on GT7. But the only camera angle you could get was one that wasn't even available to you, which is essentially the view of a car driving towards you. And it's the sort of view that you would get if you did this, for instance, but without seeing the rear wing. So if you imagine being on the motorcycle at the front of the Tour de France, but you only get the car in front. And it's the view that I really want to get from the safety car, under safety car. I really want to be able to just see the cars coming towards me under safety car, then watch that safety car peel off before I can pick a car to dive into when the race restarts. So here we are, lap 12 of 36 at the Austria Ring, Red Bull Ring, as it's now known. Has been known as the A1 Ring as well. It used to be actually a massive racetrack. If we get another lap on the safety car, I'll tell you an interesting story about how this track has evolved over the last 50 years. Just because I'm a nerd and I know that shizzle. It's also because I listen to Crofty and the weirdo Ted Kravitz. If I had the choice to sack somebody from F1, I'd sack Ted Kravitz. It annoys the shit out of me. Mostly because all he does is moan about how the big bell end Lewis Hamilton was robbed, when he wasn't actually robbed. He was just beaten fair and square by a better driver. After having 10 years of superiority. So I'm just topping up my beverage. While I'm waiting. Anyway, safety cars in this lap, so you're not going to get the story about how we will probably get another safety car at some stage. Someone will crash somewhere. So, we're going to go on board with current championship leader Forza Ferrario in, ironically, the Ferrario. Shame you don't get to race on it, Gabriel. That I can't remember where we are next week, to be fair. I could look it up, couldn't I? I might look it up. I'll look it up before the end of the race. I will look up where we are next week and tell the world, of course. So here we go. 2 more turns, then Cameron becomes a safety car. Got to be careful about when you get the hammer down. Too early, you're going to have lots of cars in your slipstream, all diving up inside you on turn 1. Too late, and you're not going to catch anyone sleeping. But he goes straight away goes at it. Fingers is miles behind, absolutely miles behind. Up into turn 1, everyone through safely. I love this view, it's a great view, look at this, absolutely brilliant. So there we go, and next week is Mexico. Thank you very much for that, Gabriel. When you're not racing, you could be kind of my information guy. So Cameron leads the way. Dunners is tucked in behind him though. Tyres, that's what we're looking at. We don't know what tyres been involved. That's maybe we could look at the wheels, I suppose, but that would involve something like that. So Dunners, smart move from Dunners. He's gone onto the soft compound tyres. He's seen an opportunity here to make a run at Cameron and open up a lead. And he's in a good position where he is right now, in 2nd place. Forza up into 3rd already. He's making a push for the lead of this race. And while his biggest his biggest rival on the track in race number 1 was Crib. But now there's a few others out there. The thing is, top 3, medium, soft, medium. Ryan, Paggy, Drybones Malone, who makes the move on Drew Cam on the mediums. So just goes to show the difference between mediums and hard tyres there. Although Drew Cam coming back at him. And then Drybones Malone losing out to Connor. And then Connor losing out, Drew Cam losing out to Connor. Drybones Malone moving down, Harley moving up. Everyone's moving up. I'm trying to watch Dunners take this lead. And everything's going on down here. It's going off down this end. It's Bray Train and Kells. Was it last week that Kells and Toys had a great battle right up towards the end of the race where they're just going literally at it toe to toe? I think it was, wasn't it? But currently it is Kells trying to bear down on Bray Train. Bray Train in... yeah, I know Cameron's the only one that hasn't chosen to stop. Now that is a gamble on another safety car. Absolutely a gamble on another safety car. And hoping that when it comes, it's right within the pit window. Now, we're not far off that pit window hitting. He will have been able to save some of those tyres and not take so much load out of them during the safety car. Depends how good you are. We'll have to do a screen test, buddy. But I'm happy to give anybody a screen test that's interested. But we'll have a chat about that at a later date, shall we? It's not as easy as you might think talking for 2 hours. Mostly about utter bollocks. We saw there Bray Train trying to make a move on Drybones Malone. It didn't work out. Kells snuck in and nicked that position from the teammate. So a good move there from Kells to get up into 10th place. No, listen, mate, you can ask whatever you like. Interaction on the YouTube is always very good. Don't forget to share it with your friends, of course. Get them to subscribe, because the more subscribers we get, the better the racing gets, because the more people we find. So Forza is now up into second. Despite Dunners being on the soft compound tyres, Forza has just got that pace in the Ferrari. Hence the name Forza Ferrario. I wonder if Forza would be that quick. Looking round the outside of Cameron. Goes for the switcheroo. Isn't on. Cameron doing a good job of defending. But what an exit there from Forza. That's a great shot of that overtake as Forza up into the lead of this race here on lap 17. We're moving very, very quickly to the second half of this race. And that was Cameron. Or was it Cameron, or was that... yeah, it was Cameron going a little bit wide into turn 2 and just giving Forza a bit of breathing room. So he's now out of Forza's DRS room. And there's Ryan making a move. And Crib, after putting in the fastest lap of the race, makes a move on both of them up into second. So Crib up into second, Ryan into third. Dunners drops down to 4th place. But here's the big news, is the leader, Cameron, who's on very, very old tyres now. And very old tyres, drops down to 6th position. Harley, second in the championship right now, moving up the order. And of course, we cannot forget that the reason that Harley is second in the championship and Forza Ferrario leads it is because of this guy. Yeah, he was crying his little eyes out and he left. After, of course, I caught him blatantly on the stream trying to ram another car into a wall. Let's not forget that, of course. Harley makes that move. Does he make it stick? Hell yes, he does. And he is up into 4th place. So despite being on the soft compound tyres and having some DRS, Dunners is struggling to keep these guys at bay. Now, let me remind you that Harley is on hard tyres. Dunners is on the soft tyres. And he still makes that move. What a different complexion to this race under different conditions, although the 1-2 hasn't changed. It's Forza Ferrario from standing Crib, Ryan in 3rd, Harley running in 4th place. Let's have a look at the penalty detail. So 3-second penalty for Ryan, that puts him down behind Dunners. As it stands at the moment, Dunners will be in 3rd just by virtue of penalties served. Another fastest lap for Crib, who is really, really close to the back of Forza. But we know just how good Forza is at defending his line. Puts his car in the right place every time. So it doesn't matter how quick Crib is, there isn't the gap for him to get through. I'm going to be honest, Gabriel, it's a very, very difficult job. I'm not saying that just because I'm doing it. It's taken me months and months and months to get to this standard. When I first started, I was dog shit at this. And talking of dog shit, that's what Forza is thinking right now, because he hasn't managed to defend that. And Crib takes the lead of this race, but can he make it stick? Forza's not giving this up. He retakes the lead, and they are side by side. This is not over. This is two abreast into the penultimate turn. Standing just ahead, Forza with the inside line. Does Forza tuck in behind? Time penalty for standing. It was the other way around last time. This time it's standing with the time penalty. He has got 16 laps in which to build a 3-second gap, or Forza is going to do to him, and he picks up a penalty of his own. Just pushing too hard. And there we go. Penalty for Forza as well for track limits. Up the inside, he makes the move. Does he make it stick? He regains the lead, but only briefly. These guys are going at it. There is no quarter given. DRS, that's open for Forza. Can he make the move into turn 2? He's up the inside again. They're side by side yet again. Exit out. Standing still in the lead. They're sweeping round. Turn 3. Turn 4. Still Crib just holding him off. But what a race this is between those two. Absolutely going at it. And the great thing about it is they've managed to race this closely and they're not touching. They're giving each other respect, but they're neither of them is giving this up by any stretch of the imagination. Here is Forza. He's just dropping off a little bit. This could be a byproduct of looking after tyres a little bit. And there we are with the tyres. They're both on 10 laps on those medium tyres, but they're both giving it absolutely everything. Just 0.4 of a second separate these two drivers who have been swapping first place for the last couple of laps. Absolutely on fire. And while they're racing so hard, they're pulling away from Ryan, who on those hard tyres, just losing that place actually to Harley. Harley moving up into third, takes that position from Ryan, but he's 4.4 seconds back from the front two drivers. And Ryan drops down into fourth place, but regains the place from Harley, but he has the outside line. Can he make the move stick? He does. He's back into third, not giving this up. This is a good track for Ryan. And yeah, very good racing from the front three. Standing and Forza though, absolutely dominant so far. They were dominant in the sprint race, dominant again. And Kel's, you're absolutely right, Gabriel. Kel's tyres will be on life support right now. 16 laps in. Well, actually, I think maybe not. I think 16 laps into a 36-lap race. I think you're looking at least 21 laps on those hard tyres before you're thinking about changing them out, surely. This is a one-stop race all day long if you're doing hard and medium. If you're on the soft compound tyres, of course, like Cameron is right now, 3 laps in, you're definitely going to have to pit again. But I think if you were to pit now and put on some medium tyres, you could probably make it to the end of the race. So let's have a full rundown from the back of the pack. We know what's going on out ahead. We know that Standing and Forza are going at it hammer and song like a couple of teenagers banging in the back of their mum's car. But Fingers in 14th place. We've lost toys already from this race. Fingers in 14th, 53 seconds back. He's done 16 laps on those hard compound tyres and really does start to need to think about changing those out. Scuba, 13th place. 5.2 seconds behind Cameron. He's on the hard compound tyres, 11 laps on those tyres. Probably another 8 laps on those before he's going to put on some softs to the end. Cameron's gone for those soft tyres, wants to try and salvage something in this race. And Fingers is out. We've got another DNF, and that is Fingers. This time it is a quit because it's just going so horribly wrong.
Denied.
Indeed denied. There we go. So Scuba now runs in last place in 13th. 5.3 seconds behind Cameron, who is on the softs and wants to try and use those soft tyres to... Oh, if the fingers hit the wall. So this is what we got from fingers. We got a bit of that. That's how he's been driving, to be fair.
Bye-bye.
I can abuse him because he knows me more. I am acutely aware, though, that the longer I abuse him and the longer he knows where I live, the more beers I owe him. But there we go. Cameron running in 12th place, trying desperately with those soft tyres to do something. But Dunners, on the medium tyres, just seems to have a little bit more pace. 3.5 seconds behind Kells as he is. Kells has done 18 laps on those hard tyres now. It's not long, lap or two before those tyres are going to hit that wall. And it's going to be, you're going to think that fingers hit the wall. He did hit the wall, but not as much as these tyres will if Kells doesn't change them soon. 4.4 seconds up the road is a Drew Cam. He is 2 seconds, 13 laps in on those hard tyres behind Drabons Malone, who in the Alfa Romeo, very, very wide. That is not part of the racetrack, my friend. You need to get, that's it, back on the black stuff. Good job. 1.1 behind the Bray Train. The lead Australian driver, now that we've lost the baby. It never gets old. It never gets old. 7.7 seconds Bray Train behind the lead 07 driver in Paggy, who's 2.1 seconds behind Connor. Connor running on the hard compound tyre, 14 laps old, as are Ryans, who's just 3/10 up the road. Is there a way through for the Haas driver, the Scottish hard driver, moving up towards turn 2 right now? Look at the sparks coming out the back of that car as they head up the hill. It's going to be difficult to get around Ryan. Ryan looks pretty strong around here, to be fair. And he spins! Absolutely spins!
You can't park that there, mate.
So he does get finally moving again, but
Ain't nobody got time for that.
it's because he tried. And it just went horribly, horribly wrong for him. So Paggy gets through. It's now Paggy in the other Mercedes that is behind his teammate Ryan. That got now 3.1 seconds. We'll have a look at Dry Bones Malone in a bit. Dry Bones Malone is... he's got Drew Cam's 1.9 seconds behind at the moment, so be a while before that happens. Top 3. So Forza Ferrari back in the lead of this race as Standing Crib jumps into the pits to change out those tyres. We know Forza's got to go. He's done 15 laps now on those medium tyres, so he's going to have to dive in shortly and get those changed out. For the, I think, the hard compound. And that's Connor! Connor now out of the race. Is he stricken? Is he crashed? Is he dead? That's the question. Where is he? Can't see. It looked like he was dead on the outside of that turn, actually. So Connor out of this race. That's a shame, because Connor was running quite well today and potentially could have earned some decent points. But that's brought about another safety car. Another safety car here today.
You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words.
Thanks, Greta. It's been very informative from you. Now, go to the park and drink the special brew like other 16-year-olds. So, lap 26 of 36, and a lot of drivers diving in for soft compound tyres here. This does play really well into the hands of drivers like Forza, like Harley, like Ryan, like Paggy, that have done a number of laps on those tyres. And it looks like there was an issue with the way Kells went into the pits that caused Connor to have their accident. Can't wait to see that. 2 safety cars in one race, right? Well, you say that like it's a surprise. I'm sure we've had races with more than 2 safety cars, mate. It's really difficult. I've got to turn the. No, it's not unusual to have more than 2 safety cars in one race online. The AI for the safety car online is a little bit stupid. And there are times when you'll see, and to be fair, there have been races, not with these guys in all honesty. I think it was with one of my Tuesday night leagues, there was, I think, 7 safety cars in one race. So Forza is back out in the lead on the soft compound tyre. Standing Crib has gone for the medium tyre, whereas Forza's gone for the softs. Now, initially, Forza, of course, will have the pace. Now, the two big questions are, is one, how long is the safety car out for? Because the longer it stays out, the more that plays into Forza's hands for having grip at the end of the race. Number 2 is how close in pace can Standing Crib be on the mediums compared to Forza Ferrari on the softs. Because if he's got anywhere near the same kind of pace, as Forza's tyres go off towards the end of this race, it could potentially bring Standing Crib into contention. Now, as it stands, Forza leads from Standing Crib. He does, of course, lead the championship by some way, and this is Standing Crib's first race. So let's be clear that this isn't going to cost Forza the championship. But what it will do is just take a few points out of that, and it will give him something to think about. Although I'm not complaining if somebody else is in there giving it large. Do me a favour, guys, and stop talking on freaking Discord or turn the notifications off. No, I'm joking. Come and do the chat on the live chat here. It's really good for the algorithm if you guys are chatting on the stream. So get chatting on the stream, have your little arguments there, and lots of likes and shit. It's really good for the algorithm. And the more people that like me, the more people that watch you, the more people that watch you, the more people that join you. The more people that join you, the better the races get. Yeah. Watch this for a comeback. Is that what you said? Kells has just said on Discord, watch this for a comeback. Right, 5 seconds back in 12th place. Safety car in this lap. So we're going to have 8 racing laps here at Red Bull Ring. 8 racing laps. Forza, Standing Crib, Harley, Ryan, Drybones Malone, Bray Trainer, Drew Cam, and Cameron all have penalties. Cameron has 12 seconds of penalties. Let's just put that into perspective. Absolutely plumb last. Without question, plumb last. Yes, the safety car benefited you well, but for the fact you got 12 seconds worth of penalties. However, Kells has laid down the gauntlet and already making a move for the first place that they want to take. So they're 12th right now. They have said on Discord that this is it's essentially game on for them, and they reckon they've got something to bring. I want to bring up position change. Let's have a quick look at this. So Kel's up 3 places already, looking to make the move on Scuba, and that'll be overtake number 1 done. I need like a 1, 2, 3, 4. I need that on my thingy. So Kel's, that's the first overtake. Next target, Bray Trade, 1.4 seconds up the road. At the moment, that's Harley, takes the lead of this race. We've been talking about Forza. We've been talking about Standing Crib. Those guys winning this race. We've not been talking about Harley pissing all over their strawberries and chucking a spanner in the work and taking the lead of this race. And Harley up 8 places gained, up into the lead of this race, and already 1.4 seconds clear of the current championship leader, Forza Ferrari. And that's Standing out of the race. The only other challenger for the lead, and that's Standing. And Standing, I'm sorry, buddy, but
you can't park that there, mate.
He is out, and that is another safety car. And those that put on the soft compound tyres in that last pit window, under the last safety car, and it's only a VSC, it's not a full safety car, just a VSC this time. But those that put the soft tyres on, just in a better position. And they're in a better position because they're not taking any load out of them. Not taking any load out of them at all. So right now they can just cruise along. Now, Forza Ferrari didn't do so well there. Look, gained 7 places. To be in 5th place and have gained 7 already isn't a bad shout, but no longer running in second. Harley's taken the lead. Standing Crib is out. Ryan up into the top 2, and him and Harley are tied for driver of the day. Well, certainly the driver of the day as far as the game is concerned. And Forza going into the pits. They're clearly going to as a front wing. There is a front wing missing there on Forza Ferrari. So into the pits to put a new one on. Where does that put? It puts him plumb last under safety car. However, it is slightly less of a loss under safety car than it would be under normal circumstances. Although the safety car's finished, so yeah, it's turning out to be a much bigger loss than originally planned. So lap 31 of 36, and Harley leads this race 2.6 seconds, and with Forza Ferrari in 11th position, this is a massive gain for Harley in the championship stakes, currently sitting second in the championship. If Forza finishes, and let's face it, he is 20.5 seconds back from Scuba right now, and giving himself an enormous amount of work to do to gain any sort of position here. If it stays as it is, and let's face it, Harley's putting in fastest lap after fastest lap on this medium tyres. If it stays as it is, that's a massive points gain in this championship race. And before this race, we were talking about what people could do to finish in second or third, because it was looking like Forza had this sewn up. And the reason Forza had this sewn up, and this is the last time we're going to do this, is because because Dino left. But now Harley, with that 10 place gap, and if it stays that way, it's a massive points haul, and will really close down on Forza with just 3 races to go in this season. So Harley running in first place. He's 3.5 seconds now clear of Ryan, who's on the soft compound tyres, ahead of Dunners. Dunners has done 11 laps on those medium tyres. It's he's not going to be losing grip. It's still going to be pretty grippy out there, but it's going to be a big ask against those soft compound tyres. Harley goes into the pits. Why is he in the pits? Has he got some damage? It looks like he might do, because he's diving into the pits. That's a problem, because that puts Ryan into the lead of this race, and he's got Dunners tucked up behind him. Dunners sitting third in the championship with DRS. All of a sudden, it's looking pretty darn rosy. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. We thought Forza was going to absolutely dominate. Then we're thinking, okay, well, look at this new guy, Crib. He might throw us back on the works. And then there goes, and then we're thinking, okay, Harley's going to do it. Then Dunners is looking like he's going to do it. And here comes Paggy. And what did Kells say? Kells said that they got this. Kells is up to 5th place. They are on a charge. So Ryan leads 8/10 up from Paggy. Paggy in 2nd place. Dunners just losing out, starting to drop back behind that soft tyre runner. 12 laps now on those medium tyres. Lap 33 of 36 here at the Red Bull Ring. Drew Cab 3.3 seconds back. For 3rd place though, isn't there immediate concern? It's Kells closing this down. Absolute demon drive. Making a move up the inside. Is this move going to get done on the final turn? No, it's not. But any closer into turn 1. And this is a done deal. Kells said, and I saw it pop up on the Discord, that they pretty much, they intuited that they've got this in the bag. I tell you what, not being made easy for them. That's Ryan! Ryan dropping down the order. Kells gains another place just by virtue of being in the right place at the right time. And it really is changing every single corner, every single lap. Kells on the back of Scuba. Scuba on the back of Drew Cab. Drew Cab 5.2 seconds away from Dunners. So 3rd is a distinct possibility. We're on lap 34 of 36. Up the inside goes Kells, side by side. Scuba just holding off. How long can Scuba hold off? They'll have the inside line here. This is a prime for the old switcheroo. But Kells just hangs it around the outside. Knows when they want to make the move. Trying here to make that move. Inside line here. This is where Kells makes the move. Kells is now up into 4th place. No, they're not. Here's the inside line. Can they get it now? Under braking? No, they can't. Again, Scuba just holding out. Kells cannot make this move. Cannot make it happen. Harley comes out up into 5th place. So actually Kells dropping down the order. And Harley making a big move now. And Kells spins.
You can't park that there, mate.
And that is Kells' charge over. Kells is out of this race. No safety car though, we go on. Paggy is now winning the race. It wasn't going to be 07 Toys, it wasn't going to be 07 Kells, but it might well be 07 Paggy. Just 8 tenths up from Dunners. There is Dunners running in 2nd place. Back up into that top 3 again. People just falling out all over the place. And we've got to say, like, what a charge that was from Kells. From last to 4th very briefly. Drew Cam. There's Drew Cam. Done by Harley. Harley up into the top 3. It is literally changing every corner. I can't keep up with it. I need 8 commentators to keep up with this shit. It is absolutely crazy. 6 seconds is the gap to Dunners. I can't see how anyone is going to take Dunners and Paggy. It's going to be about them two for the first 2. There's Drew Cam. He's just in behind. Is Ryan going to make the move now on Drew Cam? 9 laps on those soft tyres for Drew Cam. 10 laps now, 9 laps for Ryan. Is Ryan in that Mercedes going to be able to make the move? Tucked in behind, you've got Scuba in there as well. All 3 of them duking this out for potentially 4th place. And there is Ryan making the move. Ryan makes the move on Drew Cam. He's up into 4th place. This is on like Donkey Kong. And you normally expect on a Friday night it not to be quite this hectic, but my God, it is absolutely crazy these last few laps here at the Red Bull Ring. And I take back everything I said about Red Bull Ring in the dry. It's not boring as shit. It is bringing the absolute prime time entertainment. And everybody bar Paggy carrying a penalty. So whatever happens now, Paggy is going to win this race, and it's going to be the penalties that decide where people finish. And I'm going to wait and let it be decided for me. There is Paggy. Whatever happens, Paggy is going to be your winner, and Paggy will cross the line here at Red Bull Ring and take the win. Dunners comes in 2nd. Penalties ensue. We'll see what happens next. Harley comes across in 3rd, maintains 3rd. Ryan in 4th. Drew Cam comes across in 5th. So far the penalty's not coming into play. Cameron will come home in 6th place. Still penalties not coming into play. Then Scuba comes in. Drybones blown. Forza Ferrari all come in. Cameron dropping down that order. But there's your winner. Paggy absolutely dominated towards the tail end of that race. And there is your race winner. What an absolute awesome finish. And I do agree.
Everybody strap in.
Yeah, everybody has to strap in. That was absolutely insane finish to that race. Brilliant finish. I do agree with Harley with the driver of the day. I think that's spot on. Wow, just fucking wow. I probably would have eaten more had I known I'd expel that much energy watching that much action in the last few laps here. This, for me, has been the best race of the season. And when I saw, I'm going to be brutally honest, when I saw this afternoon as Red Bull Ring, I was praying for rain in both races because it's the only way this track is usually that entertaining. But my God, and I'm not usually one to pray to God, but what a fucking finish to that race. Absolutely insane. So, full rundown. Paggy of Australia, top Australian driver. So anyone that's supposed to be an Australian, didn't happen, son. Mercedes AMG Petronas finished in 1st place. Dunners from Great Britain in the Alpine in 2nd. Harley in 3rd in the Haas. Ryan in the AMG in 4th. Drew Cam in the Red Bull in 5th. Scuba for the Alpine comes home in 6th. Forza Ferrario in the Ferrario in 7th. Championship leader in 7th place. That just goes to show what a crazy race it was. Dry Bones Malone from America in the Alfa Romeo comes home in 8th place. Cameron in 9th in the Red Bull from Great Britain. Bray Train. So basically, we're sandwiched between the 2 Australians. One in 1st and one in last. Both Bray Train in the Aston Martin. DNF tonight was Kells after a stonking run from last to 4th. Crib, Connor, Fingers, and right at the very back is Toys. All did not finish. What a race. And I'll tell you what, if the race on Sunday anywhere near as good as that, I will let out some sex week. That was fucking amazing. Yeah, well, what can you say? It's very difficult to top that, and thank God this evening I do not have to. That is me done until tomorrow afternoon. Thank you very much, everyone that's joined me today. If you haven't heard already, I was a guest on a little podcast earlier for EuroTripz F1. I've been challenged to make sure everybody hears it. Go and check it out. It's all the details are on the in the details. Click on it, go in there, like it, say hello. Send this video to your friends. This has been of the best F1 streams I've ever had the privilege of being involved in. What a finish to that race. Absolutely top-notch racing from everybody involved. What a phenomenal finish. I'm going to try and get some drivers into interview if I can. Let's see if I can get the top three to talk to me. So bear with me while I try and find the top three if they're ready for that. Just hanging about for a minute and seeing if any of the top three are going to come and join me for an interview. I mean, after a race like that, it's very likely that people are just going to be so, just so wired after that. Harley's just said they're not coming in this week because they're just still wired. Look, the thing is, right, at the moment in Discord it is going off a little bit. People are unhappy about things that have gone on. The thing is, when you get a race like that and it is so full on, there's always going to be instances where you feel with the adrenaline that things haven't quite gone your way, or it's all gone wrong, or someone's taking you out on purpose. But I think this is the time that in the cold light of day, you know, anything you feel it's judged to look at, get them to look at. But it's insane, absolutely insane. So anyway, we're going to move on. Listen, nothing more tonight. No more Porsche Cup, as you know. Tomorrow we're black. We're black. Yes, we are black. Black flag, of course we are. Tomorrow from 7:30ish, 7:45 I think, for Black Flag Staying Power over on GT7. It's the GR1 cars for round 3 at the circuit of St. Croix. I think it's St. Croix C. Do come and join us for that. It's going to be absolutely awesome. It can't get much better than that race though, can it? Let's be fair. Thank you very, very much for joining me this evening. I've been Empire. This has been Black Flag Racing TV with EuroTripz F1 and possibly the best F1 2022 race I've been part of. And I never ever thought I'd say that about a race around the Red Bull Ring. Catch you tomorrow for Staying Power. Back here next week if I don't see you before. Laters.